Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. It's a pleasure to follow on from my honourable friend, the member from Croydon South. This private member's bill affects a very emotive area of public policy that deserves a great deal of attention, and I commend my right honourable friend, the member for East Worthing and Shoreham, for bringing it before the House, and of course to all those who have worked so hard to bring it to this stage. The momentous decision taken by the Supreme Court in June this year represents a changing point in how we treat civil partnerships. The review that will be conducted following the passage of this bill will mean a profound change in how we, as a society, treat the concept of marriage and partnership. Following the case, the Government stated it was considering the Supreme Court decision carefully. The Prime Minister has said that given the sensitive and personal issues involved in the case, no legislative changes would be taken until the consultation on the future of civil partnerships had been completed. I agree with such an approach, as it represents an air of pragmatism which the Prime Minister has worked with throughout this issue. I fully commend the amendments created at committee stage regarding this report on civil partnerships. It is crucial that we ensure this debate is not lost to the revolving cycle of 24-hour news and social media. Committing the Secretary of State to preparing, consulting and presenting a report on civil partnerships will surely avoid this. We must accept there are some people in this country who have fundamental disagreements with religion and religious convention. Therefore, some will see a review which supports two equal access to civil partnerships as a natural step towards a more secular society. Some go even further and believe that marriage represents a time of patriarchy and a socio-religious structure that fundamentally discriminates against women. I disagree. Whilst I fully support the equalisation of civil partnerships, I believe the concept of marriage is still one that should be cherished. For many families, marriage is the foundation upon which the home is built, and we should never lose sight of this and not forget the integral role a two-parent household plays in raising children. Perhaps I should note, Madam Deputy Speaker, that I am slightly biased, as Mr Harrison and I have enjoyed 20 years of wonderful marriage. Indeed, the happiest years of his life and mine. I thank my honourable friend for that intervention. In relation to the marriage components of this bill, I find it quite simply outrageous that a mother's name can still not be included on their children's marriage certificates. This indeed does represent a time in which patriarchy was widespread and sounds akin to some of the domestic practices of countries where equality is far from adopted. The current practice in no way resembles the liberal, egalitarian democracy that we live in. If we want to stand by all parents in this nation, we cannot claim to be on the sides of single parents when 90% of them are women. And as it stands, if any of their children were to get married, they would be able to include only their father's details in the marriage entry.
Will my honourable friend give way?
I will give way.
I thank her very much and I commend her very much on the speech that she's making. If she will just allow me to say that I support wholeheartedly the entire contents of the bill introduced by my friend from Shoreham and East Worthing. It may be the other way around, I apologise. But also this bill has a personal significance to me because my daughter announced her own engagement just last week and she's due to get married next summer, and I very much hope that this bill may be enacted to enable me, her mother, to sign the marriage certificate of my daughter Ruth and her fiancé Aled.
I do thank my honourable friend, the member for Reddish, for that intervention, and I'm sure the whole House will join with me in congratulating Ruth on her engagement. We look forward to many more Mother of the Bride conversations in the members' tea room. And I would like to thank my own constituents, Julie Fisher and Howard Johnson, for also writing to me about their civil partnership plans after 30 years of being together. It is crucially important that this stage is made by primary legislation. Although secondary legislation could be used, it would necessitate replacement of all 84,000 marriage register books currently in use. It would be costly and ineffective. Whereas, if we proceed with this bill, a new unitary digital database could be created for the marriage register, providing not only a safe and secure model, but also one that is cost-effective and efficient. I must commend my right honourable friend for also seeking to change the current registration procedure for stillbirths. To go through such a traumatic experience only for the loss of the parents to go unregistered, it is a long-running travesty. The story of parents such as Sarah Henderson, who lost her daughter at 23 weeks and 4 days and yet received no certification, exposes the incompatibility of having such rigid legislation in such a personal and emotive area. Sarah's story compelled 370,000 people to sign her petition, which supports a change in law, very similar to what is being proposed here. This, Madam Deputy Speaker, shows the strength of feeling in this country around such a sensitive area. Whilst I commend previous parliaments for scrutinising and amending this area, we must take this step to bring greater humility to our birth-related legislation. Parliament previously supported a change to the stillbirth definition from after 28 weeks to after 24 weeks, following then clear consensus from the medical profession that the age at which a fetus should be considered able to survive should be changed from 28 to 24 weeks. The pain and distress that parents may feel that they may not register the birth of a baby born before 24 weeks is unimaginable, but there would also be parents distressed at the possibility of having to do so. Madam Deputy Speaker, this bill affects 3 areas of life that are often missed in our intense political climate, but these 3 areas have an immeasurable emotional impact on the people of this country. Births, marriages and deaths occur every day, and I believe we must reflect upon and amend legislation affecting this matter. Finally, I would like to once again commend my right honourable friend, the member for East Worthing and Shoreham, for his efforts on this bill and the campaigning he has persisted with on the issues within it.
Thank you. Will Quince.
Thank you.